The stars above the small town of Eldridge shimmered with an otherworldly glow, as if they were whispering secrets to those who dared to look up. Among the townsfolk, there was a girl named Lila who had always felt out of place. She was different, not just in the way she thought or the way she carried herself, but in a way that defied explanation. Her eyes held a depth that seemed to stretch beyond the horizon, and her laughter carried a melody that no one could quite place. Lila had always known she wasn't like the others, but she never understood why. One crisp autumn evening, as the leaves danced in the wind and the moon hung low in the sky, Lila found herself drawn to the edge of the forest. It was a place she often visited when she needed to escape the noise of the world. The forest was her sanctuary, a place where she could breathe freely and let her thoughts wander. But tonight, something felt different. The air was charged with an energy she couldn't explain, and the usual sounds of the forest seemed to fade into an eerie silence. As she walked deeper into the woods, a soft, pulsating light caught her eye. It was unlike anything she had ever seen, a gentle, golden glow that seemed to beckon her closer. Her heart raced as she approached, her footsteps crunching softly against the fallen leaves. And then she saw it. A figure stood in the clearing, bathed in the golden light. It was tall and slender, with skin that shimmered like starlight and eyes that glowed with an otherworldly intelligence. Lila froze, her breath catching in her throat. She had always felt different, but she never imagined that her difference would lead her to this moment. "Hello, Lila," the figure said, its voice a melodic blend of warmth and mystery. "I've been waiting for you." Lila's mind raced. How did this being know her name? And why did it feel like she had been waiting for this moment her entire life? She took a cautious step forward, her voice trembling as she spoke. Who are you?" The figure smiled, a gesture that was both comforting and alien. "I am called Elian. I come from a world far beyond the stars, a place where the boundaries of time and space are not as rigid as they are here. And you, Lila, are not of this world either." Lila's heart pounded in her chest. She had always felt like she didn't belong, but hearing those words from a being who seemed to know the truth about her was both terrifying and exhilarating. "What do you mean?" she whispered. Elian stepped closer, its movements fluid and graceful. "Long ago, a group of our kind came to this planet to study its inhabitants. But one of us, a child, was left behind. That child was you, Lila. You are not human. You are one of us." The words hit Lila like a tidal wave, sweeping away everything she thought she knew about herself. She stumbled back, her mind reeling. But why? Why was I left here? And why are you telling me this now? Elian's gaze softened, and for a moment, Lila felt as though she could see the weight of centuries in its eyes. "You were left here because we believed that Earth had something to teach you, something that we could not. And now, the time has come for you to return to your true home. But before you do, you must understand why I chose you." Lila's brow furrowed. "Chose me? What do you mean?" Elian extended a hand, and Lila hesitated before taking it. As their fingers touched, a surge of warmth spread through her body, and suddenly, she was no longer in the forest. She was standing in a vast, shimmering city that seemed to stretch endlessly into the horizon. The sky above was a kaleidoscope of colors, and the air was filled with a soft, humming sound that resonated deep within her soul. "This is where you come from," Elian said, its voice echoing in the vast space. "But it is not just your origin that makes you special. It is your heart, Lila, your capacity for love, for empathy, for understanding. These are the qualities that set you apart. Among all the beings in the universe, I chose you because you have the power to bridge the gap between our world and yours." Lila's eyes filled with tears as she looked around, taking in the beauty of the city. It felt familiar, as though she had been here before, but it was also foreign, like a dream she couldn't quite grasp. But why me? She asked again, her voice barely above a whisper. There are so many others. Why did you choose me? Elian placed a hand on her shoulder, its touch gentle yet firm. Because you're the only one who can understand both worlds. You have lived among humans, experienced their joys and sorrows, their triumphs and failures. And yet, you carry within you the essence of our kind. You're the bridge, Lila. The bridge between two worlds that have been separated for too long. Lila's mind raced as she tried to process everything she was hearing. She had always felt like she didn't belong, but now she was being told that she was the key to uniting two worlds. It was a responsibility she wasn't sure she was ready for. What do you want me to do? She asked, her voice trembling. Elian's gaze was steady, filled with a quiet confidence. I want you to come home, Lila, but not just to stay. I want you to learn about your true heritage, to understand the power that lies within you. And then, I want you to return to Earth and share that knowledge with the humans. Help them understand that they are not alone in the universe. Help them see that there is more to life than what they know. Lila's heart swelled with a mixture of fear and excitement. The idea of leaving everything she knew behind was terrifying, but the thought of discovering her true self and making a difference in the world was exhilarating. She looked into Elian's eyes and saw not just an alien being, but a kindred spirit, a guide who believed in her. I'll do it, she said, her voice steady now. I'll come with you. Elian smiled, a gesture that filled Lila with warmth. I knew you would, it said. You have always been destined for greatness, Lila. And now, it is time for you to fulfill that destiny. As they stood together in the shimmering city, Lila felt a sense of peace she had never known before. She was no longer the girl who didn't belong. She was Lila, the bridge between worlds, the chosen one. And as she looked up at the kaleidoscope sky, she knew that her journey was just beginning. Epilogue. Years passed, and Lila returned to Earth as promised. She brought with her the knowledge and wisdom of her true home, sharing it with those who were willing to listen. She became a beacon of hope, a symbol of unity between two worlds that had once been so far apart. And though she still carried the weight of her responsibility, Lila no longer felt out of place. She had found her purpose, her true self. And as she looked up at the stars each night, she knew that she was exactly where she was meant to be. For she was Lila, the chosen one, the bridge between worlds. And her story was just the beginning.